Welcome to this week's Behind the Poem. Thank you everybody for the gracious and generous birthday love. I'm still making my way through all the loving messages, so thank you, and thank you for your patience. I hope you yourselves are feeling celebrated and loved this week too. I am definitely feeling celebrated and loved, and I am at capacity. Everything feels like it is bulging and spilling and overflowing. And yes, that includes an abundance of incredible love, and also I am depleted, I'm tired. I have not stopped moving for many, many weeks. And so I can't think of any other poem to do today than a poem I wrote well over a decade ago about this very thing. Enjoy. It's called 8 Days of Light. So far, this is my second take. I fucking hate doing this poem until the end. So, it's so fucking hard and miserable, and yet I know it's what I have to do. On the first night of Hanukkah, I eat Indian food in the East Village with three friends from graduate school. I'm taking out my fucking Invisalign. This is gross. I don't care. I could stop the recording. Fuck me. The whole fucking poem is a tongue twister, and I am so fucking out of practice. Here we go. On the first night of Hanukkah, I eat Indian food in the East Village with three friends from graduate school at 6:30 p.m. after breakfast with Amy in Philadelphia at 8:30 a.m., brunch with Sean and his boyfriend at 11, a 1:15 bus back to New York, a long walk down Canal Street with all my baggage, a cab ride to the East Village, milkshakes with Carlos, a walk through the park. I get home before midnight, where there had been a Hanukkah celebration hours before. I don't bother to ask if they lit the candles. I go to bed without the flames flickering in the darkness, one of my favorite Jewish traditions. On the second night, I have dinner with Lori at a macrobiotic restaurant after brunch with Phil, where he tells me about last night's date, and we giggle like school children, and he helps me pick out a holiday party gift at a tea shop and helps me wrap it on the sidewalk, and I jump in a cab to the holiday party on the Lower East Side and realize I forgot the liter bottles of soda I promised to bring, and I stop at the bodega, and I walk to the holiday party, and I rush to a cab up to dinner with Lori, after which she drops me off at Penn Station in the pouring rain, and I head back to Long Island just before midnight and forget about the candles. On the third night, my mother calls me while I'm on the train. I ignore the call in order to call my partner in London. He doesn't pick up. I call my mother back. She's waiting to talk to her best friend in Los Angeles. Says she called to see if I wanted to light the Hanukkah candles over the phone with her and my sister at college, or should they just do it without me. I say I haven't lit the candles the entire holiday. I have to be somewhere in 10 minutes. May as well just go ahead without me. Just seems silly to even put the effort in at this point. What with Jonathan overseas for a 3-month photography fellowship, grandson of Holocaust survivors, son of a yeshiva-educated dentist without an ounce of Hebrew in his breath. For 3 Hanukkahs, he stood by my side, smiled as I sang the prayers and lit the candles, said it felt special, wrote me the most beautiful card about all of it, the candles, the flames, glistening in the dead of darkness. This year, Hanukkah is a bust. On the 4th night, I don't even try. I force myself to compete in a poetry slam just to help. I am so out of practice and shape as a performer, and I feel like that with my whole body right now, that I'm just like so out of shape and practice at being human. Jeez. On the 4th night, I don't even try. I force myself to compete in a poetry slam just to help out a friend after 3 doctor's appointments, 2 meetings, and several train rides. It's exhausting. Growing up, Hanukkah was all about the presents. The rainbow-colored sleeping bag my aunt and uncle gave my cousin Tracy and me that nurtured my childhood, and every sleepover where I filled someone's hand with shaving cream and tickled their face. As an adolescent, Hanukkah was about protest, about, Mom, stop giving us presents because that's what Christians do, and Hanukkah isn't Christmas, and this is just sacrilegious and self-righteous, insert self-righteous 16-year-old quit here. In college, it was about finals and crashing after finals and winter break and no time for holidays. I'm a self-important Ivy League student in Philadelphia, and who has time for anything else but the fifth night? I bail on an event for which I've already bought a ticket in order to report for an article I'm writing about plastic surgery and body image. One of my sources changes her interview time. The deadline is 2 days away. I only have tomorrow to write the several thousand-word story. I take the subway to East New York while I shove my dinner, a salad, into my mouth until I accidentally drop the fork on the subway floor. All I want to do is sleep. All I want to do is be grateful for having so much to do, but my body is telling me to find some light in all the darkness, all the darkness. On the sixth night, I have dinner with my best friend and my mother. Years ago, my friend Jack, now a rabbi, told me Hanukkah is a light in the midst of darkness. The darkness of winter, the winter of doubt, the doubt of warmth, the warmth of hope, the hope that there is always a light, that the light, ever quiet, ever subtle, at even its most faint, is always the possibility of explosion, of incredible, of ignite. On the seventh night, I am exhausted. That morning, I impulse purchased a $141 Amtrak ticket 20 minutes before my otherwise free bus ride to Washington, D.C., because I didn't finish the story. I needed to finish the story. I needed to be on the train in order to finish the story. I burn blank CDs for a friend's bachelorette party in Union Station, take a business call while sitting on my suitcase outside the Papyrus store, shove a Jamba Juice smoothie down my throat and call it lunch, jump in a cab to Bethesda, Maryland with Jenna, and we get to the bachelorette party rental house before everyone else. She observes Shabbat. And when the sun starts tapering through the windows, we head to the kitchen and I tell her I haven't lit the candles all week, that it's one of my favorite things to do in Judaism, and maybe because Jonathan's gone, maybe that's why I just had too much else going on, but all I ever wanted to do was see the light in all the darkness. And she tells me to light the candles, and I feel like I'm going to cry because all I ever wanted to do was see the light in all the darkness, in the dead of winter, in the dead of exhaustion. On the eighth night, I've finished my story, turned it in to the editor, and started enjoying the other women amongst whom I am surrounded. I tell myself I'll do better next year, find the light in all the darkness, but I know that my body is begging me to slow down, begging me to find an answer before next winter, begging me to find the flicker in the simmering overwhelm that is my life, begging me to remember that the Maccabees found a drop of oil in the destroyed temple and it burned for 8 nights, begging me to remember that my body was once a destroyed temple and it is still standing. But oh, how it wants to feel the light year-round, how it wants to lift into spring and relish in the sunrise, how it wants to feel itself breathe. I'm a workaholic. I have a problem with overscheduling myself. And I just turned 40 years old, and I've been doing this since I was 7. And it's all I talk about in therapy. That's not true. I talk about a lot of shit in therapy, but I talk a lot about this. And some days I don't know how to get out of the hamster wheel, and other days I feel like I'm getting there. But I know that it's in my control most of the time. Sometimes I can blame capitalism, or a lot of the time I can, but it's a little sad to me that I wrote that poem well over a decade ago, and I would like to outgrow that noise. Have a good weekend. Shabbat Shalom.